Hey, it's great to be with you again today. Sometimes do you feel like you're having trouble finding God? I mean, you're going through a dry spell and you just feel like no matter what you do, you're not connecting with God for some reason. There's just this incredible quiet. There's an incredible time where you feel like no matter what you're saying, no matter what you're doing, no matter how you're trying to be in God's presence, that there's just like this disconnect, right? And I think that there are times when all of us go through that when we're trying to connect with God, where God is still active, God is still doing things, but we don't recognize it, right? We don't recognize what God is doing. It's not the first time that's ever happened. The disciples, after he resurrected from the dead, right? There was a quiet time. He wasn't around, and so they all decide they're going to go fishing. So they all jump in a boat, right? They go out on the sea, and man, they don't catch anything. They're out there fishing, and they catch nothing all night long. And it's the morning, and they're getting ready to come back in, and they see some guy on the shore, and he says, "Hey, did you catch anything?" And they're like, "No, we didn't catch anything. It stinks." Right? Paraphrasing. And the guy says, "Well, why don't you throw your net on the other side of the boat?" And they're like, "What in the world?" And they said, what do we got to lose? So they bring their nets in, they throw them on the other side, and they catch so many fish that it starts to pull the boat under. They can't even pull it in. It's so heavy with fish. And they realize it's Jesus. And Peter jumps in the water and he swims to shore while the other guys are struggling to get the boat and the fish in, right? And it's Jesus. But they didn't recognize him. They didn't realize it was him. There was a disconnect. They hadn't seen him for a couple days, and now all of a sudden here he is, and a miracle happens, right? They hear his voice and they follow his lead, and an incredible thing happens. Could the same thing be happening to us when we are having that downtime, when we're not connected to God, when we feel like there's this disconnect? Are we just not recognizing that Jesus is in our midst and we're just missing it because we're so busy doing other things? May we hear and see Jesus in the midst of all that we do each and every day. May God pour out his grace, mercy, and blessings on each and every one of us. Until we get to meet again, amen? Amen.